Everybody, it's James here again, and welcome back. It is, what day is it today? It's Friday, the 16th of December, 2022. And this morning I rode a ride that I've never ridden before. It's called Social Brews. And it's a social ride that starts at 6 a.m. in the morning at the Raffles meeting point. And it's a very short route. It's about approximately 30 kilometers. It's a loop down the Esplanade through Shelley, down Manning Road, up Kent Street to South Perth Foreshore, and back down the PSP back to Raffles. And the coffee shop that they finish at is Steam Lab along Kingtail and Applecross. And yeah, it's a real chilled ride. They don't even roll. So it's just two at the front, 10-minute turn, and then pull off. It was really chilled. I really enjoyed it. And at the end of the ride, I got to chat to our special guest today, Ali. Okay, so Ali, if you don't know, is in the PMCC to AVS main video, and he's the rider that leads that ride in the zebra bibs. If you haven't seen the video, I'll just search for it. It's in my collection. It is the main video of the channel. So Ali is involved in mental health first aid. It's something that doesn't get enough attention, I guess, in the world or in Australia in particular. And it coincides with my master's project that I was working on for one of my units around emotional regulation. So towards the end of this video, I'll upload I guess it's kind of like a TED Talk presentation around the subject of emotional regulation, because I believe it doesn't get enough attention. And once you become educated yourself, you'll be able to educate, I guess, hopefully pass it on to your family and friends. And for those that are watching that have kids, pass it on to your kids. Because I find it quite odd that if you observe children and they have an accident, they cut themselves, they know straight away, I got to get a Band-Aid on this. But when they encounter something, I guess, more mental, they have no strategies to cope, right? There's no coping strategies to go, hey, hold on a second, why am I getting angry, or why am I feeling depressed or anxious? And so I give you some strategies to cope with reducing the negative effects of negative feelings and prolonging the positive effects of positive feelings in my little 10-minute TED Talk. And Ali will also give you some insight into mental health. So I hope you enjoy it. It's something a little bit different, kind of giving backstories to some of the characters that ride around in Perth. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stick around for the bonus footage, my little section on emotional regulation. You'll love it. All right, guys, enjoy the weekend. Bye. Good morning, everybody. It's James here again, and we have a special guest, Ali. Ali, say hello.
Morning, folks.
What day is it today?
It's Friday, and it's the 16th of December.
2022. Wow. We can take the glasses off now, do it properly. Ali, so which group ride did we just do?
We just did the, what were we doing? It was Friday Social Brews. That's the one.
Friday Social Brews. And what time and where does that start?
Starts 6 o'clock at the Raffles. It is a cruise down through Shelley, South Perth, and then back through into Applecross here for coffee. So as it says, it's Friday.
Yeah,
socialising.
Social ride.
And we get a brew.
Yeah, and so when did this start, this ride, and who kind of incepted it?
I have been jumping in, as I do. Folks know I go around all different group rides. I believe it was Cass and Seb put together.
Oh, wow.
I think maybe Joe had to do with it as well. And I saw it pop up on Strava. I thought, it's a nice one for a Friday.
That's cool. So here we're doing something a little bit different. We're trying to get some backstories of some of the characters and riders around Perth. So Ali, how long have you been riding for now?
I think it was about three or four. So
3 or 4 years?
No, since I was 3 or 4.
Oh wow, it's been a while.
I've always had a bike.
Yeah, and was it mum and dad, or was it who? Like, were you racing at one stage?
I've always been in a rush on the bike.
Yeah.
But it started really, I can still remember one of the first times I had my stabilisers off my bike and came down a little mound, little hill just outside my house when I was a kid, and that is really cool to still have that memory and that feeling of coming down this tiny little hill, but with no stabilisers and going for it. So I still remember that. So
Wow.
yeah, I've been riding around since I was a kid, and always had bikes and commuted, even in Scotland through the weather. And
Oh, you're from Scotland.
and had that sense of freedom, and that love the sense of freedom.
Yeah.
Love being a big kid again.
So for those that don't know, Ali is the rider in the zebra bibs from the PMCC to Abs video, which is kind of like my main video for this channel. So if you don't know who he is, check out that video. I'll leave it in the links.
Nice job, I did that kit as well. So that was quite cool. That was my boy Callum. My boy Callum, he bought me that kit. So there you go. I don't know if he was setting me up in terms of wearing that kit to be laughed at or laughed with, but yeah. So I appreciated when that's pretty cool when your boy
That's
your
cool.
boy brings your kit back.
So off the bike, what do you do? What do you do off the bike?
Yeah, so off the bike, and folks around Perth, I've always been quite open. Off the bike now, I am a trainer in mental health, safety, and a whole range of people skills. That's came about through experiencing mental illness almost 3 years ago now, and it was at this time of year when things had got really dark, and it's quite ironic on one side, but it's actually quite comforting that we're at Heathcote today. The site of an ex mental health facility here at Heathcote.
Yeah.
And it's quite cool now to see things. I often see things now come full sort of circle or cycle, no pun intended, in terms of being ill, and now the growth. Never really said recovery, because we've all, I have steps backwards and that, and it's MD who goes through it.
Wow.
So yeah, no, that's what I do. So I've changed. I say changed career, but it's actually more natural what I'm doing. I deliver mental health first aid.
Okay, so
which has been fantastic. It's like the core of things. Yeah.
So you deliver like first aid to which companies have you delivered it to recently?
So there's all different organisations. It's be some in mining through to I've had community groups, and a real range of places and people, because mental health is, as you know, our mental illness unfortunately is really all around us. 1 in 5 of us, and it's a us thing, right?
Wow.
1 in 5 of us will go through mental illness in a year. So you look at our ride this morning, what do we have, maybe 20 people?
20, 30 people?
20 people or so. Let's say it was 20 for the ease of my arithmetic, and then that's going to be like 4 people on our ride who either have, will, or are going through mental illness in a year. And I'm saying that because I've been there, still have work to do as well, but you can get well, you can develop some amazing relationships. I've had so many people who I never knew before I was ill. I never knew them, and yet they've come to care about me, and
Wow.
that is really cool. And I say that for anybody, if you're one of the 1 in 5, or maybe you're a carer, or family, or friend, that just to give you some hope, if you can reach out for some hope, for some support, I should say, and chat to somebody, or if you've got a friend or somebody who's not going so well and you're not sure, that things can get better and they can be brighter.
Wow. Look, I really appreciate you opening up about your personal experience with mental health. And so for those that need to seek help, any particular website or number they can call? Or
Well, as always, as we know, one of the fantastic things is how I'm set up now. I've got partnerships, and I train for Lifeline for one.
Lifeline? Okay.
I'm a trainer for Lifeline. I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I've had to support both Lifeline and people, and how it's helped me. So you can call the Lifeline number 13 11 14. You can also call that number on behalf of somebody, right?
Okay.
So if you perceive that somebody is having, they've maybe opened up to you around suicidal thoughts, and they've spoken around plans, and they're ready to take action, then you can actually call. You can actually call the Lifeline number on behalf to say, look, I've just had somebody open up to me. I'm really unsure as to what to do. I want to help, but how could I start? And that's like the initial one that anybody can do. The second part to that is why I love helping folks understand mental health first aid. The two key things we do in it. One is we're trying to get over the barriers that we have individually to asking somebody how they're going, because we can be fearful at what response are we going to get. So mental health first aid gives us a structured approach to the conversation. Right? You'd love it as a practitioner of the conversation. You'd love how it's all set around how do you approach somebody, how do you truly listen to them, how do you give them support and information and hope, like I've been trying to do, how do you encourage them to get to professional help if needed, and then how can you encourage them to maybe do all the other supports that help, like our cycling community has been massive for me. And the second part to that is, you could say that the art in the training, the art is the conversation. The science in the training is understanding signs and symptoms of anxiety, of depression, of suicidal thoughts, of substance use, and that's the pairing that comes in the training. So we help folks develop a bit of knowledge, break some of the stigma around mental illness, and then through teaching and practice and role plays, we learn some skills around how we can have a genuine chat and help people out, which is pretty cool.
This is really deep. I actually quite like this. So something a little bit more about yourself. Would you like to give us 2 truths and a lie for the audience to guess, Ali?
2 truths and a lie. I struggle with this one because integrity is really important to me. So this is 2 truths and a lie. People might not realise this, but geez, when I am riding, even if it's group rides or around the river, obviously when we're racing we're doing it, but I have to be first.
Okay.
People don't realise this one.
Is that hold on?
Burning desire.
2 truths and a lie. Just give us 2 truths and a lie, quick.
So that's the first one. Second one being, I played the part of Eugene in Greece at a school show.
Okay. Third one. Morning.
And the third one being that when I was younger, my first job was in the local toy store in Aberdeen.
Okay, so wants to be first on every single ride. Played Eugene at a play, and worked at a toy store in Aberdeen, Scotland. So viewers, have a think about it. The next personal question is a superpower, Ali.
Yeah, I really like this one. I would love the superpower of rays of empathy out of my fingers. Right. So at times when you perceive that somebody's not empathizing with you and they're not getting you, that I could just go a bit like the Emperor in Star Wars, but in a good way. Like, will you empathize with me? But I've come to realize that now and again, I'd need to take those empathy rays, and I might need to fire it back at myself because I'm not empathizing the most with other people.
Cool.
So that would be my superpower. I'd love that one.
Empathy. So, would you like to reveal to the audience which one was the lie?
Which one is the lie? Well, unfortunately, I am not too fussed at times whether I'm the first or not over the line. But sometimes when I am, I really am. Maybe on the mountain bike, I really am.
So sometimes. Cool. So guys, what I'll do is I will I will actually play an emotional regulation, kind of like my TED talk that I did for my master's program after this. So hopefully you guys can learn something new, or if you already knew these techniques, you actually learn the vocabulary to describe emotional regulation.
Yeah.
But
just to jump in with that, That was, again, I'm open. Emotional regulation was the first group I did when I was getting support through the hospital. It was the first group therapy.
Yeah.
Emotional regulation was the first one. So think of it as being like, almost like the paracetamol of therapies, right? It's not going to fix everything for everyone.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be really helpful generally. And then certainly my journey was next to CBT, where we're challenging our stories that we tell ourselves around the world, which impacts how we feel. And then my next group was to DBT, which is around becoming more grey rather than looking at the world and relationships in black and white. So you're resonating, man. You're on. For me, I look forward to watching your TED Talk.
Cool, fantastic. Thank you very much, Ali, this morning.
Love what you do, James. You don't realise what you do in terms of the social connectedness. And we know that folks being connected socially is a massive protective factor for us in our mental health. And when we don't have it, it's a risk. So what you do with the videos and promoting things and getting people together is magic, man.
Cool.
Thanks for it.
Yeah, I just want to create a community of practice. That's what we call it, a community of practice with the riders in Perth. And just keep everybody linked. See you guys. Bye. Hey everybody, it's Work Integrated Learning Project, and I'm your presenter, James Pei Yee Tan. And today's topic is emotional regulation. And here we have a meme from Star Wars as Anakin, and the therapist goes, "Your issue seems to be with your emotional regulation," which Anakin replies, "Is it possible to learn this power?" So, before we go ahead, we have a quick acknowledgement of country. As we share our knowledge of teaching, learning, and research within this presentation, may we also pay respects to the traditions and knowledge of the Whadjuk peoples. I also pay respects to their elders current, past, and present. So emotional regulation, why is it so important? Well, it's strongly linked to teachers and students' well-being, and this is becoming an issue here in Australia for well-being. So a recent study done by the Telethon Kids Institute, published in May 2022 this year, shows that 2 out of 5 Australians are reporting that they're not being happy, and 42.6% indicated they were feeling stressed some of the time or all the time. So these are alarming statistics. Safe Work Australia also reported that female teachers was the #1 occupational group to receive mental health related workers' compensation. So yeah, this is a big deal. And there's also a strong connection between teacher well-being and student well-being. So if we can empower and educate teachers on how to emotionally regulate, they can also educate and empower students and therefore increase everybody's well-being. So emotional regulation, what is it? According to Gross, it is defined as the process by which individuals influence which emotions they have, when they have them, and how they experience and express these emotions. Okay, so I like to use memes just to keep everybody a little bit entertained and keep it light. And yeah, you'll remember it more when you have visual representation. So there you go. So emotional regulation strategies. This topic is a minefield and there's a lot of content out there, but today I'm going to focus on ways which people can adapt to negative events to reduce their effects and also to prolong positive events. Okay, so with adapt to negative events, there's 3 that I'm going to focus on. The first one is cognitive reappraisal. Secondly, it's downward social or self-comparison. And thirdly, problem-directed action. Okay, so all these help to adapt to negative events. This applies to both teachers and students. Okay, so all these strategies you're going to hear today, the teacher can obviously implement them and students can learn them as well. So the first one is cognitive reappraisal. By reframing a negative situation, an adverse event or feeling can be shifted to neutral or positive territory. I'll give you an example, one for teachers and one for students. Okay, so for a teacher, you could be chasing up students for assignments, and then taking a step back and going, wait a minute, this is their responsibility. I should just let this go. It's up. It's on the student. And for a student, it could be they're uncomfortable sitting in a crowded bus, and then changing their mindset and thinking, wow, everybody here is unique, have their own personalities, have their own backstories. And maybe if I chat to them, I'll learn their story as well. Okay, so these are examples. So downward social or self-comparison, this is a very popular strategy. So basically compare yourself to someone less fortunate. The first meme is quite self-explanatory, but you could be a teacher experiencing a bad event that day, but then you realize, oh, it's okay. The other school I was at was way worse. Okay, so you're comparing yourself to yourself in the past. And for a student, well, they could be just walking, having lunch, drop half their sandwich, and then realize, hey, it's okay. Other people in third world countries don't even have food. I can survive today with only half my sandwich. So problem-directed action. This is about thinking about and acting on a bad event to change the situation and thereby speed up adaptation. So for a teacher, it could be a colleague that you don't like and you avoid them. That's in reference to this meme here. And for a student, well, it could be a student keeping a post-it notes diary of what they did well and what they didn't do so well in that semester, so they can adapt and learn and change for the next semester, and that would change their studying practice. Okay, so now that we've discussed adapt to negative events, which were cognitive reappraisal, downward social or self-comparison, and problem-directed action, we're going to turn our attention now to prolonging positive events or emotions. So we're going to discuss savoring and gratitude. So the first one is savoring. So it's reliving positive feelings from the past, present, or future. An example for a teacher would be the feeling of appreciation from students once the students do a feedback survey and they all recommended the course that you taught. And for a student, it could be, they're writing an essay, and at that time they don't feel it's fun, but when they finish it, they look back and it's like, wow, I published that essay. It was fantastic, and they attain a certain amount of pride, and they can enjoy it. And when they look back retrospectively, the final one is gratitude, where you notice and you appreciate the positive things in life, and this should be practiced more and more often. For teachers, an example would be just being grateful for the co-workers that you have, the access to technology or resources, and the same goes with students. Be grateful for being in class, having an education. This should be practiced more and more often, definitely. Yeah, so thanks for staying awake. Just to wrap it up, I know I've only touched on the surface of this large and complex topic, which is emotional regulation. But if we can just be conscious of our thoughts and our emotions, we'll be better teachers, our teaching practice will improve, and our relationship with our students and co-workers will also improve. And same with students. If they are aware that they're dealing with a negative emotion, and they can turn that around to neutralize it or make it become positive, they'll be much more successful in the educational space, their well-being, and we want to increase the psychological wellness of both teachers and students. So yeah, I I hope you learned something from this presentation. And even if you already knew these techniques, you have now learned the vocabulary needed to explain them. Okay, so thanks for watching. Bye. And yeah, finding the references in alphabetical order. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.